Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My topic today is going to be, I guess, in general, the necessity of ongoing research into finding out about, specifically about your traits and about autism in general. I mean, you have to research. When I say research, I mean, yeah, look into articles, go to websites, go to talk with people, ask questions on forums. It's at least this is where I come from. It's an ongoing, never-ending process. When I say never-ending, at least for now, I mean, I don't think I'll ever know it all. And there's a case in point I wanted to bring up. I think specifically what it was on one of the forums. Actually, it's on a Facebook forum. I had put a shoot. I'm trying to think of exactly what the question was. It was cannot remember. Anyway, the suggestion was okay. I remember what it was. That's how my mind works. I posed a question. Matter of fact, this might be another video of static versus dynamic stems, meaning if I do an active hand flapping, or if I'm rocking, or if I'm wringing my hands, or tapping my fingers, or touching my lips, or anything that's motion. That's one type of stem. And what about okay, well, what I noticed specifically was on my leg, I had put my hand, because it's my leg, and I put my fingers, I wedged my leg basically, or my fingers over my leg, and put quite a bit of pressure on there. And here I was, and I didn't notice it. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, I'm looking down at what I'm doing, and I mean, I'm really, this isn't like just I'm going to lay my hand on my leg. This is I'm doing some sort of a stimulation there. And I thought, that's interesting. There's no movement there. And I have found this is another stem I'm exploring is where, and this is just amazing to me. It's a combination of, to me, of twisting this arm and the sensation that gives me. It's just an amazing feeling. This is so bizarre to me. It really is. I mean, I remember literally the first time I was playing around with toe or my foot. I remember as a kid when I thought I was ADHD, and I was sitting there bobbing my foot. I'd tap my foot and bounce my foot and rock my legs and everything else. And while I was doing that, I think I started sort of did this. I went, oh, rocking. And as soon as I started rocking, I went, oh. I have been to the doctor a number of times, I mean, over my life, saying fatigue, stress, strain, fatigue. And they're always saying, oh, okay, it's this, that, we give you a pill, we give that, sleep more, eat more, drink more, take vitamins or whatever else. And okay, try it. And you get to the point, it's like, if I hear one more doctor say, here's a pill, or, and you get to the point where you feel like you've exhausted all your possibilities. You really do. And off on a tangent. So anyway, so static versus dynamic. Trying to think of some other ones. So I guess this would be one of them. Darn it, I had a whole. I think what I've heard called Raptor Hands, which are, I don't know if I can. It's where you basically I bring my arms up like this. I tend to bring my arms up like this. So it's my own version of it, I guess. But I tend to do this. But that's sort of a static. That's not. Because I'm getting tension all along here. I mean, my muscles tight when I do that, and way off on a tangent here talking about stems. Anyway, while I was talking about that on the forum, which is where I actually started all this, was to say one of the suggestions was look into sensory processing disorders. And I found a site that had a list. And to my surprise, I made a list, a 3-page list of things that I think were relevant. And I'm going to go through a few of them. I'm going to put the website at the bottom of this this video. The Sensory Processing Disorder Checklist, Signs and Symptoms of Dysfunction. Okay, that was the heading on it. I just selected the certain categories and stuff, so this isn't the complete list. These are ones that I picked. Hypersensitivity to touch, tactile defensiveness, in quotes. Becomes fearful, anxious, or aggressive with light or unexpected touch. Now this is how I interpreted that. Fearful, I guess is if you poke me. I remember this as a kid. If you came up to me and did something unexpected and touched me, I had such quick reflexes. The chances are I would do this before I even thought about it. And I mean, if I hit you in the arm, if I hit you in the chest, if I hit you in the face, it didn't matter. It was just that was kind of that bing, bang. It was reaction. And it was, these are all the kind of little things that, well, they're not little things. It wasn't just once. I mean, this was something that was fairly consistent. Okay. As an infant, does not like to be held or cuddled, may arch back, cry, and pull away. I can kind of remember doing this with my mom. I just was like, leave me alone. Complains about having hair brushed, and maybe very picky about using a particular brush. I'm like that now. I mean, I guess I'm not, I can do anything. You can stand on my freaking knees if you know what I mean. If it's like, if you gotta do it, okay, that's what makes this whole diagnosis process, or self-diagnosis process, or any of the diagnosis process, I guess in general, very hard, is that you go, well, yeah, but, and it's like, well, what do I do? What is my natural tendency? And man, I buried that so deep that I have to really go, okay, and I have to recollect actual incidents and go, yeah, I did it then, and yeah, I did it then, and yeah, I was doing it then, and yeah, I did that. I mean, and it just adds up. Complains about hereditary resists friendly or affectionate touch from anyone besides parents or siblings, and sometimes them too. Yes. This is so bizarre because as I drop these mental, what do you call it when you're you no longer register, or you no longer can honestly look at certain traits and things. But as I can drop those, and I think they start dropping, it's sort of like, I'm trying to get this image in my head where it's like these, it starts with a ding, 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 and then there's bigger chunks and bigger chunks, and finally it's an avalanche. Is what it sort of feels like. But I think it goes in spells, it refreezes at night, I guess, anyway, just like kisses will wipe them off. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, I always thought that was like a grandma aunt thing, like, you smell funny, you got lipstick on, just go play with your dog, overreact to minor cuts, scrapes, may overreact to minor cuts and scrapes and bug bites. Well, I'm still I had a memory of when I was on a bike that was modified, and it was, the way it was modified was you basically, it was like a tricycle turned upside down, so the seat was sitting really low. Anyway, it was weird, but the handlebar didn't have rubber grips on the end, and it turned, and it took I still have a scar, where it took a little chunk out of my leg, and I remember just crying, and I remember my uncle going, for God's sakes, it's just and it wasn't like I needed stitches or anything. It was just a bad scrape, but I was just like, and I remember it because he was like, well, just, come on, you're way out of proportion here. And I kind of remember other things like that. I mean, this is what the feelings come back. It's like, yeah, that wasn't unique. I don't remember everything else that happened, but that was kind of my mindset. That's quite what I did at that age, or that's how I was feeling. Resist brushing teeth, extremely fearful of the dentist. Yes. I never thought of it as a hypersensitivity to touch. I mean, this is a really good example too of, like, someone says, "Are you hypersensitive to touch?" I go, "No." Well, yeah, you make a list of them. You go, okay, there are things that I'm hypersensitive to touch. Yes, there are. Okay, this is one on the list. It's like bing, 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 bing. May walk on toes only. Well, balls of feet / toes, and all the time. Hypersensitive to touch. I never would have put it in that category. Tactile defensiveness. See, and some of these may not be. I know that I do toe walk, but is it because of hypersensitivity? Something to process, something to think about. Anyway, I've got that was the first 20% of the first page, and I have 2 and almost a half pages of stuff. It went through signs of vestibular dysfunction, hyposensitivity to movement. This is what was puzzling to me, is some of these categories I had them in both. I didn't know you could be well, this one not in particular. I think, no, this one was hyposensitive to movement only. I'll just read through a few of them. What am I at? Oh, gosh, 12 minutes already. Well, I won't go through the list of details, but you got an idea of the kind of stuff that you will find, and you need to keep looking to really define yourself. But also, I think it frees you to be yourself. I'm 59. I'm just really looking forward to being me for the first time. So anyway, I'll put the link down here to where this list was, and there's a bunch of stuff on there, so you may not, I think it was towards the top of their information, but this was sensory processing disorder checklist, and lots of good information there. And this is just another little thing I'm learning about myself, big thing actually, and I hope it has helped you out. Please leave comments. Keep looking for who you are, and you do that by research and staying active in pursuing and becoming. It's an effort. It's not something that's just going to come naturally. So anyway, thank you, and I'll talk with you all the next time around here. If I can find out how to shut this thing off.